Minister Paul Tah Mai Javis, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, has given February 15, 2025 as a deadline for all unauthorized churches to actually close their doors permanently or down to the beat of government's action, which would definitely come. A promise that must be kept. Break time is over to the minister in a sector that has heavily been invested and invaded by quacks and charlatans who are parading as pastors, priests, and prophets to lobby and to get money from the vulnerable population who are struggling, who are looking for miracles. Today, it is common to see any person pick up a Bible and go to a building and just have an inscription that this is this church of all nations, that healing is your portion, and the gullible majority who are looking for miracles, hoping that the poor economic condition of the nation will only come through a solution by praying and fasting, that they will go and have their healing. Minister Paul Tah Mai Javis' action or statement or position has brought in mixed feelings among many Cameroonians, with some standing for and others seeing it as prosecution or persecution of those who ought to preach the gospel. Many have hid under the canopy of we are being persecuted, we are being persecuted. But persecuted over what? Did the Bible not say in Romans chapter 23 that respect the state and the authority? Is it not that same Bible that says that every leader is appointed, every leader elected is decreed by God, that we should respect it? I think that it is time for us to look at the facts as it is. In 1990, Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, commander-in-chief of the armed force, #1 statesman, guarantor of national security, whichever accolade you may want to give him, gave a standing firm declaration that he liberalized the sector of worship, and freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of worship came in, and that was when we actually saw the opening of many churches. He did not actually say that you can open your church without due process. Due process must be followed, and that is what Minister Paul Tah Mai Javis is saying, that if you look at one quarter, a quarter has about 15 different churches, and you ask yourself, how ready are we for end time? And the more the churches, the more the crimes. And that's why it is common to see deliverance and healing of people with one common crushes. Everybody have brand new crushes, brand new, the same. And you ask yourself that all these people who were lame, did they get it from one shop, one brand, one shop? I'm not saying that they are not genuine healing, they are not genuine miracle, but I'm just asking the question that how fair have we been to the process? The liberalization of churches shouldn't be a green light for quacks and charlatans to get into the process. In a revered Catholic church, a priest will have to spend about 7 to 9 years before you are ordained. In the Presbyterian church, a pastor will have to go through rigorous training. The Baptist church the same. In some other churches the same. Others will tell you that the God has called me. God has called everybody. That's why we are priests, prophets, and kings. But the calling, did you actually listen to the calling, or you called yourself? Many actually called God that they want to be part of the prophetic healing, and not God actually calling them. This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday to all those of you watching us in different parts of the world. We want to wish you a very happy Sunday. And to you, Terabel Marini, happy birthday to you in advance. You will be celebrating your birthday come Monday, and I pray that the good God continue to guide you. Your philanthropic work has touched the lives of many. Many people are being touched by your philanthropic work, and we pray that may you continue in providing your philanthropic gesture to those who are in need, and that may, as you celebrate your birthday this Monday, may blessings and protection before your family, yourself, your husband, your family, and may all those who are part of your friendship circle benefit from the blessings of your birthday, and may the good God continue to protect and guide you in all your endeavor as you add age with wisdom, and as you also add age in a time that many blessings are before you. To kickstart today's edition of our program, I begin by introducing to you my guests who are here with us. We have Kedia Robert Marafe. He is a household name here in the House of Commons, and also a member of the Commons People's Democratic Movement. Kedia, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Greetings to you. Greetings to my co-panelists. Greetings to all Cameroonian as we celebrate the last Sunday to Christmas. Special greetings to the people of Bamising. I just want to tell all Cameroonians that us, the elite, we stand with our fund, and the deadline has been given by 31st. We want all separatists to leave the village, because we want peace, we want calm in Bamising. We will not tolerate any mischievous or permission of separatists to continue with their barbaric act of torture, rape, extortion, and hardship they have implemented on the people of Bamising. So we are saying this, and the fund has already said it. We are supporting him, and if they want to wait to try and see, then they should wait and see what the fund will do. Once more, again, it's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Javis.
Thank you very much. Ignatius is also here with us. Ignatius, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Javis. Happy Sunday to my co-panelists, and happy Sunday to those who are watching at us from the quarters in Douala, right in the villages. Because I just returned from the village, I realized that people were watching my Media Prime right at Ashong, where I come from. So greetings to one of the televiewers of this program, Tembele Isaac Akuro, who I discovered him. I was surprised. So I know that the reaction of the minister, people receive it with different, it is also interpreted differently, and then with different feelings. I think we'll have enough time to talk about that.
Break time is over.
Break time is over. We are going to
yeah, in the studio.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We have also been joined by Nick Anu, who is also a member of House of Commons, and he's all the way from his village. He's an elite from Fontem. He's all the way from that part of the nation, and of course I know that it's not been an easy ride. Thank God we're in the dry season and the roads should be a bit better. Nick Anu, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you, Mr. Javis, and happy Sunday to the televiewers of my Media Prime, and happy Sunday to the loving people of Fontem. Yeah, it is true, the dry season has come, and then the movement there is somehow better now, and at least we are only pleading on the elites and to do something about the roads, the road situation. The road has been graded, at least the places that dry vehicles can move now, but come rainy season, they'll go back to the normal situation. And we're pleading that something should be done on the road, even if it means throwing lateral on the road, so that during the rainy season, people can ply the road easily. It will facilitate the return of the displaced people who left that place due to the crisis. Even though with the coming of the dry season, many people are returning and peace is gradually coming back there. We are only praying that the steam should continue. Thank you. Now with the dry season, I'm sure that there's a new threat, which is dust. Of course. Of course. It's dust during the dry season, more during the rainy season. So.
Okay, I begin the program with you, Nick. Maybe I'll start with you first before moving to Kedia. Minister Paul Atanganji's deadline on February 15. All unauthorized churches should actually close their doors. Break time is over. Many people have gotten this misreaction, Where do you stand?
Yeah, I stand with him. I stand with him. He's right in his outing on authorized churches. That has become the order of the day. Maybe if you look deeply into Cameroon, you will see that just about the conventional churches are authorized. You go to the sphere of the Pentecostal world, you will see that many of them are not authorized. Just a few of them are not authorized. I mean, just a few of them are authorized to operate not legally. Yeah, so I think Cameroon being a land of law and order, and the coming of the Pentecostal churches has become a call for concern. The kind of disturbances they give within our residential neighborhoods, everywhere you go move on to. Sundays you cannot sleep in your house peacefully, and most of these churches, you wonder whether they really have jobs. Most of those who go to this church, you wonder whether they really have jobs they do within the week, because you see them on church on Sunday, they are there. On Monday they have Monday service. On Wednesday they have choir practice.
Tuesday you have Tuesday service. You have a Tuesday to encounter Jesus. Wednesday midweek service.
Yes.
Thursday Bible service. Friday all night. Yes. Saturday now choir practice.
Yes.
Sunday
back in church. So you see that economically, most of these people, they have enfranchised themselves economically, meaning that most of the economic time they were supposed to be used to be productive, they spend it in church, so-called in church, praying for whatever miracle that we don't know. Because deeply, if you have encountered most of these people and you know their life, you see that nothing changes within their life. You see that nothing is different from the day you know them, and every day they're in church praying God. Of course, that's not how God functions, and most of them have come to giving the excuse that they're fighting an invisible enemy that we don't know. They keep killing the devil every day, but it's as if the devil has refused to die. Yes. So most of these things are just mere exaggerations. We can even say in Cameroon is better. I used to go to Nigeria. If you go to Nigeria, it is worse. It is worse. You go to a neighborhood like this, you see about 10 to 15 churches. Somebody may even shout hallelujah in the next church. You think that it is the hallelujah of your church, and you answer it without knowing, and you respond without knowing, thinking that's from your pastor. Meanwhile, it's from the neighbor's church. So this is a call for concern. As we may be laughing like it is something that is very serious, and I think the minister, Mr. Tangani, should be regulars in this. It should not just be mere outing. It should be regulars in this, closing down most of these churches. At least if you go to work and you come back, you deserve some rest. You deserve to rest in your house, and not after coming back from a busy day. You cannot rest in your house because of the noise coming from your quarter, because of unauthorized churches. And we must say that most of these people are business ventures. Even though we are going to dive into the topic as well. So
saying now that you are anti-Christ.
That's your business.
My question to you, because you just brought my question. My question to you is now, many people, some are seeing it as persecution. How do you persecute? They are not hiding under the banner that Paul was persecuting Christians. Now this person is now simple. He happens to be Paul. That is persecuting. But did the Bible not say respect the state and its authority?
Those saying that is persecution, they should actually answer this question. We saw about a week ago a gentleman went into the hospital in Bamenda, removed oxygen and started pouring water into somebody's mouth that was on oxygen, and the person died. How do we call that one? Is that persecution? We need to put back order where order is supposed to be. Now, when we are talking about churches, we should know this. During the period of President Ahmadu Ahidjo, we had just 4 legalized churches. 4. But when President Paul Biya came, there was liberalization, yes, and the churches moved up to about 45, and it was stopped. And among those 45 churches, we have about 30 which they may have different appellation, but I call them chain churches. Chain churches, like for instance, the Roman Catholic Church, it is everywhere, but it is under the banner of Catholic Church. You have Presbyterian Church all over. They may have their name, but it is
under the
Presbyterian Church of Cameroon. You may like to say, okay, this church is St. Paul's. Catholic churches there. Those are chain churches. We have many of them there, where you know they have an authority, where you know if there is a problem, the state can go directly to the head of that church there. If there's a problem with the Catholic Church, maybe in Boya, they meet the bishop to know what is going on. Presbyterian Church, they meet the moderator. These are chain churches. Now, when with the progress of issue, when President Paul Biya decided to stop authorization, people engage in affiliation. Like for instance, we have universities, state university that have other professional university that come and affiliate under them. Then now we have churches that are not even authorized at all.
And they also have affiliation.
So you don't even go into affiliation.
They don't buy those things, they buy those affiliations.
Now, majority of them don't even have the affiliation in the first place. Majority of them don't have. Somebody just go rent a room and start to be casting fire. At times you sit in your house, you think the house is getting burned, whereas people are shouting fire and you go, it's a church. It is called for consent. It is also true because normally the church has its own rule too in Cameroon. We should not debunk that. We should accept it, because in Cameroon we lack much more of psychological therapy and counselors. So with the government knew that, okay, fine, the church will take that role of, you know, therapy and psychological education to the depressed, like for women that are looking for the fruit of the womb, like our sisters that have enjoyed their life very well and they are 35 and they are going for husbands.
What do you mean by our sisters who have enjoyed their life for so long? To be
honest, we have many of our sisters that men were coming when they were at their age of 20, 24, where all the geographical part were still very natural, strong like mountain, and they have wasted it, and when they see that there is no time, they go to church. That is why you see these pastors, they do examination of their client or customer, before I'll be castigated as antichrist, because of their Christians. They look at the situation of their Christians and they start to give title to the year. This year is the year you will meet your husband. This year is the year of your deliverance from poverty. They study their Christians. Yes, they know to 23 you want 4 bush. Yes, they know that. So when they study they are Christian in church, they give them those, say this year is the year of this year is the year of that. And that's why maybe the state gave that administrative tolerance. But now it is being abused. It is being abused. That you see a woman who abandoned the husband and children and is sleeping in church. When the husband wants to talk, he says the devil that is talking in you. And those pastors are comfortable. He cooks, he brings food to you, and the husband is there with the children, nothing to eat. So if the minister is coming now is to put a stop to all this, and any right-thinking Christian should know that enough is enough. You call yourself a pastor, who anoints you? We all saw all those that were called to serve God in the Bible. They were anointed.
What called them now?
They call themselves.
Being called by God does not mean that
on the road to Emmaus, and God said, John, I hear you go to my 16 and open up the church.
No, that's not the call. Some of us, we are privileged to study the Bible. We know about Saul and David. One was called and was anointed, was called by God. When you are called by God, you are anointed. And in this our model, where we expect people to have basic education about the scripture, to preach the word of God. You don't sit in the comfort of your house. You just open, where there was a bar, they close the bar, and you open church. And in the time of President Amadou Ahidjo, we have kilometers that were being fixed. That if a church is here, the next church should be at this level. Even with the level of bars, I think Minister Tanganji, after handling churches, the next thing should be bars. Because
in student residential
area, you go to Moliko, oh my God.
Moliko,
the business there is bar.
More bad than the library, more bad than learning centers.
No, let's not say library center, because normally we don't go to library because there are people that made 3 years in UB and they don't even know where the library is. These are things that the minister is supposed to stop. Administrative tolerance now in Cameroon, it's been abused, and it is being abused in a way that if a stop is not put on it, there will be chaos. I say it, there will be chaos. I understand with our brothers and sisters, those that are sick, they are looking for their deliverance. Those that want to travel, they want the prophet to touch their passport. Those that are going to school that they don't study on the eve of GC and exam, they want that the man of God should touch their pen and their papers. I don't know what for. I understand that maybe those therapies have their work they do, yes, but the right decision of the minister now is to put a stop to them. And on the 15th of February, those without authorization, he did not talk about those that are not affiliated, meaning that if you are affiliated, you don't have authorization. You should start to see how you can sell your chairs, your speaker, to start another business, because the minister has said he will stop it.
And he has given the orders to the 10 regional governors.
And automatically, when the orders are given to the 10 regional governors, it means that the 10 regional governors have given it to the 54 GOs, and already the 360 divisional officers already have that authorization. So it is a bold step that we appreciate. However, we want it to be done in a way that human rights is being respected. That's what we must call. So they have a deadline. After the 15th, they will have no reason to give. I remember one time, anyway, let me say it, because you know, when I say such thing, people have they always castigate me, but I will say it. There was one man of God, I will not call his name, that was in Munya, and he left and went around Mutenge towards Limbe Road, and he had a scandal, sexual scandal, and when he was called to bring an authorization, he did not have an authorization, and over the night he got an affiliation to present it in court.
Yes.
So that issue of affiliation needs to stop. Even at the level of the universities now, they are even struggling to stop those affiliation, because somebody does not have a land. You have no document, nothing.
No,
I don't know.
You don't have the available capital set by the state that you must have a certain capital for opening university.
Catholic Church, Press, Baptist, they don't rent. They have their territory, their land, they build their church, and they are there. When you go that you want to, you go and get an affiliation, since the other pastors that are there, they just accept, maybe because money is passing behind, they give you an authorization that you are renting in somebody's house. Are we supposed to have church in a compound in somebody's house? Why are some of them abusing God in the name of preaching the word of God? So all the documents are clear. Even to have an affiliation, you are supposed to have a land title where you build the church, and it was supposed to be visited by a divisional officer to inspect it before you even have that affiliation.
Okay, coming back to you. I'll read the message here, but you react after the message. You make your point, and then we'll come to reaction of this message. But let me just read it. He said, it is really a pity that most of you castigating churches have nothing to show for it. If you have faith in your life, stop pouring your frustration on churches. The church is not your problem. Go and work for yourself. And leave the church alone. It's coming from Gilbert and Sassin. Gilbert Young Konji Sansin. Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert. Unfortunately, we have not faith in our lives, Mr. Gilbert. And we know that problems like this will come. And the Bible in Romans chapter 23, I'm sure Mr. Paul Atanga cited that 3 years ago in Kumba, that Romans chapter, I'm sure it's chapter 20, that respect the state and its authority. And we must be clear that even Jesus, when he went to the temple, to the synagogue, he flocked at people doing business in the synagogue, and he said, my Father's house is not a place for business. Today we are hearing anointing water, anointing this, anointing that, buy this, buy that, buy that. Some are even selling a key to heaven, some are selling land, portion of land to heaven. Is that biblical? Mr. Inactious. Do you stand with Atanganji, or you see it also as a persecution, like this person is also is persecuting us?
I would like, from the beginning I said that the statement is being interpreted differently. You see, it may be we might interpret it in a different way from the way he was reasoning. From the statement he said those churches should close down permanently. That statement permanently is already, according to me, is wrong, because I want to take from what Kedia just said. There are a number of churches that were having authorization. During the period of President Amadou Ahidjo, we had the Catholic, the Presbyterian, the CBC, the Baptist, yes, the Baptist, Cameroon Baptist Church, and then you see during the period of President Pobia, there are just a few of them who got authorization, like the Apostolic. You have the Apostle, you have the full Gospel, just some of them, not so many. You see, according to me, before commenting into this statement, I would like to call on the attention of the Christians in Cameroon, first of all, that the Christianity in Cameroon is the highest religion that is divided, that is united. Had it been they were united, they wouldn't have been seeing this, facing this kind of situation. Because normally, they were supposed to be a body, a national body that control churches. When I call a national body, like in the music field, we have SOCAM. In journalism, we have the National Commission. Yeah, that is headed by Joe Chebonke. In business, we have a JICAM. So the church is supposed to have a national body that regulate the activities of the church, because those people who are supposed to be members of the commission are supposed to be clergymen who have studied. Because when you are going to control somebody, what he knows, maybe you even know more than the person. Now, when the minister is intervening, the minister is not a pastor. He does not. He has not studied the Bible like some of them. Like the moderator.
He's Paul.
Yeah. No. He bears the name Paul, but he's not.
Don't forget. He's Paul.
So what is happening here is that the churches in their different denominations, they have their heads. Like when you go to the Presbyterian, they have their moderator who deals directly with the President of the Republic. You go to even the Baptist, they also have their it means that they have different heads. They are still disunited. That's what, if for some time authorization has not been it has not been given again to maybe to churches, in which had it been that body was existing. A church that was about to be created was supposed to console the body. Because why I'm saying that the statement permanently is not correct, because we cannot say that if you want to tell me that Cameroon we have to stay and continue functioning only with the churches that were already having authorization during the period of President Amadou Ahidjo and those that were authorized by President Paul Biya, it is wrong. But the population,
let me know.
Because the population is.
That was a question I wanted to ask. You just took it away from me. Let me learn. Yes, we assume that Mr. Paul Atanganji probably may not be a clergy in that domain.
It does not master the Bible like those.
He's an administrator that understands the risks it takes for letting things out of hand, and which may jeopardize national unity and national peace.
Right.
My question to you is, how many of these churches, 1 week after Minister Paul Atanganji made this declaration, have actually come out to say we have applied, we have not had their application, we have not had authorization, we started applying from so and so? Because by normally some churches, if they had, would have called for a press conference and say, this is our document that we applied, we have not been able to have it. How we have not even seen the coalition of some of these churches to come and say, okay, this we are going to see the minister to ask whether we can follow up this, we can follow up this. They are now shouting everywhere that is persecution. have they followed the due process? Or when Minister Paul Atanga say permanently, is he talking about the fact that they will never open their doors, or they should
that's the way
permanently as of now, because they don't have authorization, until when they will have, then they can.
No, maybe I understood the statement wrong. That's the way I interpret the statement permanently, because when you say permanently, it means that maybe after, if they follow up authorized, they will not be given authorization. No, that's the way I interpret it.
It did not say authorization has closed permanently. He said.
Okay, right. Let me come to your question. Riley, as Kedia earlier said, you know, there are many churches now that are existing under the affiliation of other churches. You see all these prophets who are even having population more than some churches. None of them is even having authorization. They have affiliated themselves under other churches. A majority of them when you see them going to affiliate themselves under other churches, it means that the authorization was not possible. Because even your question was right. You cannot tell me that from the population that we have in Cameroon, all these churches, somebody could have already reacted as you say. But for me, I understand. If all of them, since from the day the last church that was given authorization, because I know that for it has been for long that authorization has not been given to churches. But now, for this length of time, if some churches have not been able to have authorization, it means that it is not possible. Had it been maybe a break was given, that's where I'm diving to. So, according to me, I might not be very right, but the statement was supposed to give them time to regularize their activities, either to have authorization or and then the time given, even the time given, the 15th of January.
Yes,
so it's February. Yes, it's still the time is not enough.
No, when you say the time is not enough, this press conference took place early December, and 15th February has been given as permanent close. By default, he had a latitude to even say immediately with immediate effect. But because he did not say with immediate effect, that's where he's putting human right into it. That have a lengthy time to react. Because this window of opportunity is administratively it's a time given. Nobody needs to tell you that it's a time given for you to react. Because you have February, you have December, January, February to regulate. Before action is taken, it's like you have authorization to create and to run. None of these churches which are they're shouting. Let me give you an example. Go to Moliko. There's a quarter in Moliko around Tah Mai. After every 2 buildings or 3, you have a church. 2 buildings, you have a church, you have a church, you have a church. Like he was saying, somebody can shout hallelujah and you shout
another person
so you are saying that the timeline is very short. How short it is? Have these people actually applied?
No, that question you cannot ask that question to me, because you cannot ask that question to me, because I know that it may be if they were to apply. All of us we are aware that they have been going under affiliation. If they were to apply, it's from now to the deadline. Given added to the population that we have. Remember that from the time. Let us just take from the time, as I was saying before, that from the time that the last church was given authorization. If you want to compare to present date, the population that we have in Cameroon. That's why I'm diving to that date. That is the date is not really. But there's one thing that before Kedia comes after me, there's one thing that I want us to understand. I needed to use this statement before is because of your question. I'm not one of those people who feel that the minister is trying to persecute churches. All of us are aware that most of these churches, a majority, are not really a true men of God. But they are true men of God. We should not accept the fact that they are true men of God. Even in the field of prophets,
when you say
a majority are fake.
Remember,
but they are true prophets. My reaction was trying to say that because of the crimes committed by some of them, a decision should not come. A decision that will punish.
Remember that you said Mr. Paul Atanga may not be a man of God to actually understand this. He's a minister, and when church minister means a preacher, and take to his name minister.
No, that's misinterpretation.
No, it's not misinterpretation. But at Kema's funeral, he gave a homily, something like a homily. The funeral of late Mayor Kema, he actually said, gave some biblical teachings,
and
he built a church, and he built a church in the center and handed over, which means that supporting the church.
I know.
So which means that he actually, and he was baptized as a prophet, priest, and king, because in the Roman Catholic Church you are baptized as a prophet, priest, and king. KJ, I want us to react to
Now, when we look at signboard of churches, we should read what is there. I have that mindset that some of us, we don't read when we see signboard of Catholic Church, Press, Baptist, and the rest. We should have a time when you look at the signboard, you read what is there. And talking about affiliation, even from their placard and their flyouts, when you are affiliated, you write that you are affiliated under this church. They are not affiliated. They are not affiliated. It is supposed to show in their signboard that they are affiliated under this mother church. They are not affiliated. And there is something I want us. There's something I want to say is that Mr. Tanganji is not out to judge men of God.
Yes.
He's not out to judge which one is true, which one is fake.
He's talking about their preaching.
He's not even talking about their preaching. He's talking about legality. Why should you go in a church where you know the church has not been authorized? It is illegal. Firstly, as an upright person, why should you go in a church where the church does not have authorization or even affiliated? From their signboard, you know, from their flyers, you know, a church that is affiliated, it is there, clear. So they are not affiliated.
See, that some of them are not
majority,
except you are not reading.
Excuse me, sir. When I started this program, I am the one that explained. There are those that are authorized, we have those that are affiliated, and we have those that are not affiliated. I am the one that
said that majority are not
affiliated.
Yes.
Majority are not affiliated. If they are, let them change their signboard, write the name of the mother church and which one they are affiliated
when
to.
you look at the Catholic Church, you see they will guide the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes, it is.
And they have a statute. The Rome have a statute.
Yes. Now what I was saying is that, okay, if you go to Bonaberry, St. Joseph Parish is the name of the church, right? And it is under what? The Roman Catholic Church. It is written there.
Yeah, diocese.
Yes, it is written. Diocese, everything is written, so that you know that this Catholic Church, it is under this diocese, this, before they come and write the name of the church. Because the name of the Catholic Church, you see, the name of the religion, I think, is Catholic Church, right? Roman Catholic Church. But the name of those churches, they are there, and they take the name of saints.
Yes.
They take the name of saints. St. Joseph Parish. If you go to hospitals, you have St. Elizabeth Hospital that is found in Shishon. That people call it Shishon Hospital. Here in Aqua, no, we have the Padre Pio. That's the name of the church. Carry the name of the saints. But when you look there, you see it's under a diocese, and under Roman Catholic Church registration number. It is all there. Why don't we have that? They know they are illegal. So our brothers and sisters that are going to those churches, it's time for them to tell their men of God that go and get authorization or you go and get affiliation, and not to be under illegality. That is what Minister Paul Atangadi is talking about. He's not talking about true or fake prophet or whatsoever. That is not his point.
That's a debate of another day.
Of something else.
Okay, you have to react.
Yeah, I think the issue of affiliation is most of these men of God have to be honest with themselves, because you cannot say you are affiliating. I take for example the issue of schools, affiliating higher institutions into state university, for example. If you are teaching accounting in your school and then the state university is also teaching that program, that's why they have the authority to maybe supervise your programs. But if you go to issue of affiliations of these churches, if you say you are affiliated to a mother church or to an established church, but if you look at the doctrine they teach and the mother church, that divert, they are not even related. Most of these churches, they teach totally different things from what the so-called affiliation or the so-called affiliation to the mother church they are. But of course, all of this is deception, because if you say you are affiliated to a church, what you teach should be similar, or not, even not the same.
Or your team, you should have one team.
You should have one team. I think Mr. Tanganji should go further, maybe studying the Rwandan model. The Rwandan model, they've called a very beautiful model that for them to authorize you to operate a church there, you must. There are a series of regulations you have to follow. For example, the pastor have to have a theology degree, and the state has instituted a program that each pastor, if you want to have a church, you must go and study through that program. You must go and study and graduate, and then they recognize. If not, even if in Cameroon other churches have their theology schools and the rest. Yeah, I happen to be a product of a theology school under the Catholic Diocese of Douala. Yeah, I studied there for 3 years, having a theology diploma. That's why when it comes to church, you have a deeper understanding of that. Most of these pastors, they call themselves. God did not call them. We have to be honest with this. They call themselves. We are today talking mostly the negative impact of most of these people, what they have done to family, what they have done to life. They've divided so many families, and it is a call for concern. And if the state is coming into place to put order in this sector, it is by their right to do that. You cannot allow illegality to go on and on and on. And even though we may say that most people go into these places to find solace, I think the positive impact or the negative impact of this, most of these so-called churches, are far more greater than the positive impact they have created.
Because Nick, how do you understand this? How do you understand this situation, Nick? That the more churches we have, the higher crime we have. The lesser churches we have, the less crimes we have.
Yeah, it is because if you want to just know what is true and what is false about them, you study the kind of messages they preach. They give people that false hope, giving you false hope, giving you that's why they keep changing. Every year they will bring a new theme.
A year of restoration.
This year is a year of restoration. This year is whatever was in that has to be restored in your life. We don't know.
Harvest.
Yeah, so all of these captivating themes that if people
a year back to sender.
If you have messed up with your life and you don't want to go have an honest encounter with yourself to redress your life, and then you want to go and find consolation, because I call it consolation. They find consolation to somebody that will come and tell you, you know that you've done something wrong in the past, and for you to go into yourself and then try to correct this, you instead go to somewhere where they will begin to give you false hope. They will begin to tell you that what you did doesn't matter, and so on, that God loves you, and so on and so forth. They forget to know that there's karma in everything we do. Most of these churches are business venture. We are not even talking about the international branches of.
Yeah, I was about to go to the international branches.
Cross over to our
I wanted to ask Keja also the international branch. I will get to that, because
it is a source of capital flight. Because we study most of these, the offerings and the collections and the seed sowing they give in these churches, you see that it is a form of deception, that you deceive people to sow seed, and only the life of the pastor is changing, and those who are sowing those seeds, their life is not changing, and most of this money,
their reward is in heaven.
Most of this money is all this money is collected and sent to the headquarters. You saw somewhere some time behind that the Winners Chapel, the general overseer, that's Bishop David Oyedepo, he sacked a pastor some years back.
Yes, pastors were sacked.
Yeah, pastors were sacked for not giving enough money from their branches. So most of these things, they collect money from our country and send to these headquarters. That is capital flight, and most of these things should be stopped.
Okay.
And I think it is high time. I think Minister Tanganji is not saying that he's banning churches for being churches in themselves. No, he's talking about the legality of the existence of churches. If you want to exist, they have to be a protocol. Everybody cannot be a pastor. Everybody cannot be a pastor. And even if you want to call yourself, at least follow some procedures. Go have some training, and then stop confusing people with unfounded doctrines, because you just read the Bible and then interpret it in your own way, and you think that that's how God functions. No. Most of these people, they should stop giving people false hope. Stop giving people false hope. This year you receive your visa as if you need God to have a visa. I don't think that you don't need God to have most of these things that promising.
They are the ones saying need to.
Yes.
We need God.
Yeah.
Nick,
we need God to.
Have we met before?
Yeah, most of these things. Do I know you? Most of these things are
they call it arrangee pronouncer. Because most of these where you go, they collect your personal information, and they can collect your information, and after 3 months before they act on it, so that you will not even suspect. You will not suspect that they are acting based on that, and they do findings about you, especially when you go to their church as a rich man. They will do findings about you, and then the kind of prophecy they will give will be different from. And we are not castigating or persecuting churches. Our viewers should.
But what we are saying is that it has been invaded by quacks. It has been invaded by quacks and charlatans.
The quacks are doing more harm than good to us. That's why it is high time we talk against these things.
Tah Mai Atanganji is correct. All associations, including churches, need to be monitored, but he needs to know that he is dealing with a very delicate sector, and he needs to be careful how he goes about it. Why did he have to threaten people? Does he know he is representing the entire government? Why was he not sarcastic when dealing with serious matters like this? Concerning the NGOs, can he give us information about how many NGOs were audited and how many of them had problems? What were the nature of the problems? Why did he target some NGOs and accuse them of using their funds for political activities? Is this not political attack? Jacob writing from Bamenda. This oral right, he says, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, most individuals operating churches are caught in the poverty trap. They are popping out from every corner with all manner of names. Some are even occultists. I understand their frustration, but they have spelled more doom than salvation. Pastor today is now a profession, whereas they ought to be ministers of religion. Criminals calling themselves pastors and doing terrible things out there. They should be closed down. This is Lawrence writing in Bonaberry. And this right, it says, in the last days there will be perilous times. Whether you close churches or not, evil will multiply. MINAT is unconsciously adding voters to the opposition. This is coming from Donald Sophie, thank you very much for your message. This all right, it says, greetings, I am Professor Sabum, writing from Yaoundé. This church thing is becoming more of businesses than being for the purpose of serving the Lord. This all right, he said, thank you guys so much. I think these church things need to be regulated. To me, the minister should also go further and start looking at fake miracles, and that those who will give fake miracles on flyover, if it does not happen, they should be closed down too, whether they have authorization or not, because you will hear kind of prophecies. If the prophecies don't come true, they should be closed down. Okay, let me take on those who have sent us normal text messages. Please, if you write us, indicate where you are writing us from and be a bit civil. KJ Robert Malafe, you are experienced when it comes to international relations, and there is this issue that probably will need clarification. These churches that pop up and say they are international, and also those churches that are representing other churches in Cameroon. We know that if a diplomat, like the Roman Catholic Church, if they are to send somebody like a nonso, the nonso will have an accreditation that he meets with the president and hand over the accreditation, and the president receives the accreditation and now gives authorization. Like the diplomat will have other diplomat. Like the same thing with Presbyterian Church, if they are operating out of Cameroon, they always have an accreditation. Now with these other churches, that you hear a church is operating in Nigeria, before you know it, you have branches in the quarters in Cameroon.
If they don't have an authorization, they are illegal. It is not the title they write there, international church, that make the church international. It is the level of document and their representation in all those countries. For instance, when we say the Roman Catholic Church is international, is because it is found in all continents and all countries, then you call it international. Now, there is a man of God in Boya that left Nigeria and came and created his own church in Boya, which we know so well. and he got his document. He is different from those that come, since you left from Nigeria under a man of God, you just come and you write his name. No. As he said, we have churches that are earlier called it chain churches, where there is a headquarter and branches are open all over. We know those churches, and those churches have their authorization. We should not mix things up. Before I complete on your question, there's one thing I want to be clear with. The President of the Republic, President Paul Biya, is a Christian, and thanks to his Christianity, Cameroon remains one of the highest countries that have received all popes during his reign. You see, Minister Paul Atanganji is a Christian. He has built churches and he has supported the church. We should know that. The problem of Minister Atanganji is not about fake or true prophet.
That should be clear.
Yes, it's not about fake or true prophet. The move of Minister Atanganji here is the administrative perspective, which has to do with the regulation of the churches to get their authorization. That is what the minister is talking about. So people should not think that Minister Atanganji is against Christianity, is against churches and prophet. No, that is what he wants, that you people get your authorization and be in a legal perspective. Now you see a pastor came up and said he will be doing crusade in Tiku, that people should empty the hospital. What authorization does he have? That he's a pastor. Where are the people going to church or to a place he has rented to do his crusade? What are the procedures for you to abandon a church? Because to get an affiliation or an authorization, you must have a land and a church you built. When you decide to go to a field to do your crusade, what guarantee the health of those people you've removed from your church? If now they come to that your crusade and they die, or there's an accident, how do you defend yourself? So you see that Minister Atanganji is doing it for themselves, for them to have security. If somebody dies in your church that is coming for deliverance and he dies and they go to court, the first thing they ask is your authorization. So Minister Atanganji is there to help them. But since people always have that mindset to criticize anything that comes from the government, they are the ones coming out to shout, okay, fine. The young man that went to a hospital and removed oxygen, the first thing they will ask you that you are a Christian from which church? Where is the authorization of the church? You are a pastor from which school? They will ask him all that in court, and he will not be able to answer. And he will be sentenced for murder.
And that will be aggravated.
Yes, that will be aggravated.
Yes, because you have proven that you don't have all of you have first of all violated civil laws.
So when the minister comes out to say all this, people should not just come out because they have heard the name Atanganji and they just want to insult. No, it's for you people's good. There are other things also about the church which we need to talk when we've talked about affiliation. Many of those churches that really have their authorization, do we know that they receive subvention from the government? The government supports them. They are illegal. The government supports you, so that you go ahead with your activities that you are doing. Another aspect also which we talk about is the process of having this permit. Many of them don't even know the process. Just because they need to go to a banner, they put some pictures there, they go and seal it with, because they always do that with couple, husband and wife. If the husband is prophet, automatically by marriage, the wife is a prophetess. So those are the problem. Many of them they don't even know the procedure. Even as we even spoke here, and the coordinator of the program was saying that these people, they have time so that they can follow up they don't even know the process, because they have never ever cared to know the process, because they are benefiting from administrative tolerance. And this is what we have always been saying. When a child starts to come home late, and at the beginning you don't stop him, if the child come at 6 o'clock, you don't complain. The next day she will come at 7 o'clock, the next day 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and at that time when you want to stop it, it becomes difficult, because what? Toleration. All those people that are now revendicating, they are revendicating because of the administrative tolerance that was given by the state.
They become entitled.
Yes, and now they think that they are right. That's why many of us, when you talk here now, they will either say you have a problem with your life, or they say that you are antichrist, or they will say that it's the devil that is talking in you. Those are problems that we are having, but they are calling about the law. When somebody will die in your church, you will explain it there. Magistrate will not come and
Or
be
if there's a
romancing
fight.
with you. Or when there's a fight, you explain it. And the first thing they'll ask for is your authorization. You don't have automatically, you are a criminal before the law. Minister Atangaji is not interested in the businesses of the church. We've never had one day a church is being asked to pay tax. I will just make an example. You go maybe to the cathedral here in Douala, there are many business people within the church premises. They don't pay tax. There are many stores inside the church that sell candle and the rest. They don't pay tax.
They don't pay tax.
Has the government ever come inside there to question them? No. The government has not gone to that level. The government is still at the level of authorization. The government has not gone into the level of noise pollution because it's a problem. We should know about fundamental rights. Don't say that you have the right to open your church and you sing, forgetting that I have my right also to peace
and no noise.
When you think your right begins or where it ends, that's where the right of another person is. So Minister Tanganji have not even gone into all those aspects to look about it, those doing crossover in the night where there are two people going to school and the rest. He has not gone to that level. He's still at that level of authorization. You have your school, you have your hospital, you are doing your businesses, and you say that no, it's a church, it's for the well-being of the people. He has not looked into that to say you pay tax or not. He is at the level of authorization. So many people that are criticizing should also know that the government has not got into that. Because the government goes into that, many churches will suffer today. So we should be very, very honest. When a minister comes out and he's doing something good, we should appreciate and support him. Now, going back to your question, we're talking about chain churches. Like, for instance...
Winner Chapels.
Okay, let's take Winner Chapels, for instance. Maybe in Nigeria, it is authorized. We see it in Cameroon. Everywhere. Do they have an authorization? They are affiliated under what church? If, for instance, Winner Chapel is not having an affiliation in they are not having an authorization in Cameroon, it means that they should be affiliating to a particular church. Their signboards, do we see the authorization there? No. Authorization comes with a decree signed by the president with a number, code number of that authorization. They don't have. Their affiliation, do they have? They don't have. They just come, they open their church and they start to clap and the church go big. That is not even the issue. Our issue is that they should get the authorization, because when somebody will die in your church, you answer before the judiciary. And that time, don't say the magistrate is a devil, it's Satan that is manipulating him, he's an antichrist, because that's what happened. Yes. We've seen many places where a husband tried to talk to the wife that, Mama, that church you are going is too much now. There's no food in the house. The children, they sleep without their mother. You don't even ensure that you cook. And the wife will turn and tell the husband, it's the devil that is speaking in you. We've not gone into those.
Yeah, you have raised a very important
We've not gone to that process. But those are problems that we have in our homes. A woman will abandon the family and is in church. And anytime, if today I will still take that church that was in Munya, that went down around Mutengene. When their prophet had the problem they had, if you dare speak anything to analyze, to say that no, we should ask questions, these are girls that they have come, they have revendicated. What those Christians, they don't give their opportunity for their brain to reason. They just attack.
The devil,
that it is written in the Bible that men of God should receive persecution. So what is happening to that pastor? Persecution.
He just want biblical prophecy. but
you see what is wrong?
So you see, somebody, you call your pastor daddy. You come to your house and you call your husband Pangu. I said, John.
You prepare food. You take to a pastor. You dish it to give that pastor to eat. But your own husband, you don't do that. You say the food is inside the food is inside the pot. Go and remove it. Then when your husband sees that you are there with the pastor all the time, and he goes now to what? Sorry, I know people will castigate me. He goes now out to side chick. And we know that side chick, they are very romantic. While you are eating, they are wiping your lips. They even give you water to drink. And when he goes out, you now go to your pastor to say your husband is having a spiritual problem, whereas you are the cause. However, Minister Atangaji have not gone to that. Minister Atangaji is still at the level of authorization.
Okay, let me take on this message. Our minister Paul is trying to make a lot of security, as that man says. Francis writing from Kumbu, this other night says, greetings to you and your panelists, Mr. Javis. Your topic today is very interesting, though guys are just joking on it. Javis, this issue of churches is very serious. Mr. Javis, 50 meters from my house is a church where you won't go there. You won't go there and see up to 5 people, but they noticed the noise they make through the USB key with huge speakers is so annoying. My opposite neighbor's wife of 18 years of marriage left because the pastor said Holy Spirit has told him to tell the wife to leave the house because the husband is a witch and is about to kill her, and the woman has left the house, an illegally married woman. Please, Mr. Javis, I would suggest when next you have a program like this, invite some of the big men of God, like Apostle Ambe, to balance the program. Uncle Charles writing from Bonamusa. Uncle Charles, I invited men of God. I gave invitation out. You know, you cannot force some of them to come to the program. I actually give invitation out, and probably they know why they do not. They do not accept.
They don't want to say them.
Accept to get to the program, but I actually give invitation out. Know that what happens is when we have a topic like this, we always get to expert, and these persons here also are men who actually are in the field, who actually understand. Because Ignatius is a member of civil society, understand the cries of the basic people of the people in the quarter. KJ Robert is a senior fellow when it comes to international and national relations, and also Nick actually is also someone that has gone to theological teaching.
He called the name of Apostle Ambe, and Apostle Ambe this time
is having a service.
So he said he could not make it.
So Apostle Ambe this time is having a service and he could not make it. He would have been glad to be here. This one says, I am understanding the minister is talking about unauthorized. He's talking about authorization and not about the activity of churches. You people are too emotional than the minister. Fire writing from Kumbu. Fire, we are not. We are just analyzing some of the facts that are in it. Ignatius, KJ has raised a very important issue, that the reason for authorization is very important because it is instead to save these men of God from impending doom. For example, if you open a bar without authorization and people come there and fight and somebody gets killed, first you have to answer, how did you open the bar? Who gave you the authorization? Which means you have first of all breached the law of the land before now getting to the murder case. Now these men of God, can't they see that it is in their best interest, because you bring in people for healing? What if somebody come and die in your church, or somebody slump and die in your church? Is it not in their best interest?
No, Jarvis, I would like that, except you understand, you and Kedia, you understand that I'm not defending Muslim churches. The point, except you understand my point. If you and Kedia can understand what I'm going to, we needed to have a man of God in the house. You understand that he himself will make us to understand that they themselves, men of God, are not comfortable with the presence of some of those churches. That's what I want us to understand. That is where I'm diving to. But see, the problem here is, we know that if there is no control or authorization, just like we are discussing now, even bad group, terrorist group, can use the name of the church to infiltrate the country and then cause trouble in the country. It is right for churches to be authorized. It is very clear. I am not against the minister's decision, but the minister's decision has to be it has to be in a way that after the deadline given, we need to see some churches authorized. That's where I'm diving to. But look at where from the beginning I said that this decision is it will be received and interpreted differently. There are people who do not even recognize. Do you know that there are Christians who don't recognize Christ? There are people who believe that they are Christian. they don't recognize. There are people who criticize Christ. They don't believe Christ as their savior. But yes. So, and then I made an argument in a forum with somebody who openly told me that he doesn't recognize anybody like God. I said that, then who created you? He said that he is created by, I was delivered by my parents. In the forum, all of us are found inside. I was delivered by my parents. And then who created their parents? We know that nature exists. Those are the people who receive this kind of, the minister's decision is very pertinent. But you will notice that there are people who are, first of all, they were expecting a decision like this one. They welcome this kind of decision because those are the people who are, first of all, completely against the church. That's why I say that it is interpreted differently. It is those example of those people. These are the people. Some of them will carry it and use money to interpret those Muslim churches. There are Muslim churches who are just out for money, but we should not use money to interpret, maybe to describe them as money making, because I cannot. There are churches that are authorized. They are making money more than some of these churches. Sure. But yes, 100%. There are churches. There are schools in there are schools in Cameroon that are owned by churches where a Christian from that church cannot even afford to send a child there. Millions. So for that one, we cannot use money to describe those kind of churches. Authorization should be given. I'm very, very okay. So that's why I was saying that you did not understand my. No, I was
just asking so that we
expect, just like Kedia was saying.
Because
we expect, like Kedia was saying. I expect that after this, the minister should go after the witch doctors, the native doctors, whom some of these people go there in the night with bags of money. Also, then we should go after churches, after bars. After these people who said when you travel in most of these agencies, they are very intelligent that they can reach you from your eyes and they know what you are suffering from. You will take out money without knowing that this is misspending money. So we should not take everything and put on church and leave the other.
He said he is going on churches. I want to clear everyone watching me now. Please, any church that is renting is illegal because you cannot get an affiliation if you don't have a land title. That's the first thing.
Yes.
To create a school affiliation in any university, you have a land title. So any church naturally that is renting cannot have an affiliation and cannot have authorization, so they are illegal and power is coming for them.
Okay, because the issue is I wanted us to look at the fact that Minister Paul Atangani was basing his mind on legality and the protection of worshippers and the protection of also the pastor, because it's a two-way street. Because if a worshipper, you want to deliver and somebody from demonic attack and the person strangles you, will the person we have seen people who have been men of God have been attacked by
men who have been brought for deliverance.
We have seen it. So it's to protect the worshippers and also the pastor, because the state has a responsibility to protect lives and property, to make sure that everybody is equal. So people should not get Mr. Paul Atanganji decision of closing down unauthorized churches as being persecuting churches. Here is not about their content, their message is more about what they need to do in order to preach whatever they want to.
But Kedia, there's something Javis, there's something Kedia said we didn't really understand. Kedia he narrated this word affiliation. He used the Catholic Church as an example. You will notice that the Catholic Church is a chain. It's a chain of churches that are under the canopy of the Roman Catholic Church. But they affiliate. But in Cameroon there are.
Churches don't have affiliate.
Authorized. Authorization. Yes. But now we are talking. Affiliation. We are talking about. There are churches that are affiliated, but that do not bear the name. They have a name.
Yeah, but you are supposed
that
to
do not bear the name of the mother of the mother. That do not bear. That one is different. There's a difference between that one and
the name of your church and the name of the church you are affiliated.
Supposed to be
same as in professional university. When you write your name, you write the university.
Okay, no,
it's supposed to be in your.
I was coming to that. That situation is different, quite different from the Catholic Church.
It's quite different.
No, it's not different.
It's quite
The Catholic Church is authorized.
It's authorized.
And Catholic Church don't have churches affiliating under them. They don't have.
Why are they with branches?
Yes, maybe
Yeah, they have a branch.
we're almost running out of time. I want us to briefly talk about the second topic, but on the Catholic Church on the whole, if you get to a signpost about the Catholic Church, you will see if it is, let's take this one in Bonamusadi, you see Our Lady of Annunciation Parish. You first of all see that the Archdiocese, Our Lady of Annunciation Parish. Then you will now see detail about the church there, parish there, that now under the, you first see the Archdiocese. The Archdiocese of Douala, the Roman Catholic Church Archdiocese of Douala, which means that if you are looking at it, you know that this is from the Roman Catholic Church and it is under this diocese, which Samuel Cleda is their head. Now, it's the same thing like Presbyterian Church of Cameroon. You see PC Bonamusadi.
Yes.
You will see all the details about the PC Bonamusadi. So what he is saying is that if you are affiliated, like in university, if you are affiliated, you should have the name of the what we call the mentor university down to show that, okay, we are affiliated. For example, the Catholic University of Boya, Douala campus, which is at Bonaberi, across Ancien Route. When you go to the signboard there, you will see the name of Catholic University of Boya, Douala campus, registration number TF that information all there. You can't believe, you see the University of Boya, to show that this
is a branch.
This is a branch.
It's a branch and not affiliate. Not affiliation.
So if you are no, you see the affiliator is there. The mentor university is there because no private university.
Let me explain what we are saying. We are saying that churches with authorization, let me use your terminology, churches with authorization like Catholic Press Baptist, they have branches.
Good.
They have branches. Other churches now go and get affiliation from churches that have authorization. But what I'm telling you is that the press, Baptist, and the mosque, because we should not forget,
yes,
Islam too is a religion. They have their authorization. You are free to go and ask for an affiliation to them. But what I'm saying is that Catholic Church, Press, Baptist, and Islam don't give.
Even the apostolate does not give. They don't give affiliation.
We have on this. Let me just take on this. Move briefly to the second topic. Good afternoon. I really love your program. Authorization to the church is more good because some of these churches help destroy families. This is Kembong Davison writing from Bamenda. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Javis, and your sound-minded panelists. For me, I think even the legalized churches should be checked. Like, seriously, sir, it is funny, but some of these churches, even some legalized churches are not helping their Christians at all. Thank you. This is Tombang writing from Noni. This one says, greetings to you in the studio. Are you in the studio for fun or to educate the public? Is the Bible novel or a spiritual book? How can you say that a human being who is not even spiritual to authorize things not even spiritual to authorize spiritual things? Okay. White man brought churches as a big tool to colonization, and it really worked for them. Today, scammers have taken over it to be making money and destroying people's family. If I was the minister, I swear I would close all churches, ban Bible in Cameroon. Even the story of God, okay, is a scam. Okay, close all Catholic churches, Baptists use buildings for schools. Then they thank you very much. This one is Mr. Javis. We are talking about legalization of churches. I think native doctors should also be ready to legalize their shrines, since it also fall under religion. Likewise, our traditional cultures, they also fall. Yes, of course, we are talking about this. Mr. Paul Atanganji says all involved, and I'm happy that you have pipe down your tone, because you are the same person that says it is really pity that most of you castigating churches have nothing to show for it. If you have failed in your life, stop pouring your frustration on church. The church is not a problem. You should know that it is about legalization. It is, and this other person that talk about the fact that Tanganji is not supposed to legalize or talk about legalization of churches is wrong, because the Bible is clear. Respect the state and the authority, that all authority is given to you. It's unto man unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. Shall be. If you look at that very well, the state itself is captured in the Bible. We are almost out of time for this. Let us go to the second part of this topic. I begin with you, Ignatius, before moving to Nick. Cost of living and tax. Should we be focusing on cutting the cost of governance rather than increasing taxes?
You see, the cost of they are almost taking the same direction.
Cost of governance and
they are almost taking the same direction. You see, cost of governance is the citizens are feeling the pains, and then taxes, the citizens are still feeling the pain. You know, taxes are out to give money they give money to the government, and if the cost of the cost of governance it is high, the citizens continue to feel the pain. So now my feelings is that normally, if we really want citizens of a country to feel comfortable, as to be proud of their country, it should be at the level of the taxes, because the tax is what has the tax. There's the impact of the tax. It goes right down to the grassroots of the country. So you know, when the taxes are high, it calls for increase of prices and the other thing. I'm talking about taxes, and I focus really on taxes because that one has an immediate effect on the cost of living of the citizen. Okay, right now, before now, it was not, first of all, easy. Things were not really going well with Cameroonians. The cost of maybe commodities were very high, and now we are experiencing that. There is also tax is coming in after the last parliamentary session. So I was trying, in my personal feeling, I was asking questions to myself which I cannot give the answer. I don't know whether, without going into details, because it's those in the glass house, they have information more than some of us, but we as citizens, some decision that has been taken that affects us, we have the right to at least talk about it now. I begin to ask questions to myself whether our parliamentarians did they really consult the people they are representing, and then and understand that the solution to the hardship that we have now was to vote that law that calls for this tax that I'm getting now, that we have to pay tax. Even somebody who is not working have to pay a tax. So
it's just a declaration.
Yeah. So now I don't even want to. That one, a cost of governance should instead come after the tax. We have to we cannot be discussing the cost of governance with leaving out tax. We regulate the cost of governance without regulating tax. It's not going to be very perfect. Okay. So we have to start from the taxes and really regulate in a way that people should not feel the pain before going to the cost of governance. Normally, the two are pertinent. They are very important, but one is overweighing the other one. If we regulate the cost of governance without regulating taxes, I don't really see that the impact will be positive.
Okay. Let me take on these messages. Very important messages. This one says, happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I like the program. I didn't know that Keja was this very, very intelligent. He has actually opened my mind on this issue about Tanganji's outing, which means that it's not all outing that we should be condemning, because Keja has actually given an international approach and an educative approach to it. Please tell him to stop supporting CPDM, because it is because there are people are talking about CPDM that I have gotten to understand that KJ is very, very intelligent. This is Masu. Masu. Okay. This one says this is Konyung Njitang says congratulations to Minat for this decision. Okay, Ms. Natananji has heard your congratulations. We need factor, not churches. We need factories, not churches. Okay, this one says, good afternoon, sir. I am enjoying your program. Remember that prophets were God's messenger before Christ ever came, and after Christ, no prophet had ever existed in the New Testament. Remember in Matthew chapter 24, verse of 11, Jesus said, false prophet will come in my name. This is Alucius. This is Acha Alos writing from Sir. And also remember that in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 1, it says that in time past God used to talk to us through the prophet, but in our own time God is talking to us through His Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with whom we believe. And this other one reads, it says, happy Sunday to you guys. Thank you, Kedia, very much. You are outstanding today, man of the match. Why are you all shocked with we are moving to the next topic. I hope you know in such cases. This one says, remember Romans 13, God recognized the government and calls on all Christians to obey state authority. Yes, that was the quotation I was looking for. Romans 13. That was what Mr. Atangani used in Kumba before we had objection. Kija, shouldn't we focus on cutting down costs of governance before imposing more taxes?
The first thing we should know is that Cameroonians don't have problem with paying tax. The major problem of Cameroonians is how their taxes are being managed. At times it's frustrating when you pay all these taxes and you hear that it has been embezzled. It's frustrating. So Cameroonians really, though we complain is too much, but the real issue is that if you pay your tax and you don't have a road and the road is constructed, why should you complain? That's the first aspect. Then secondly, our government does not use seductive moves. Like for instance, in Senegal, their budget was increased. And the burden was on taxpayer, because when the budget increased, it means the citizens will pay more tax. It is clear, except the Oguan borrow. But in the case of Senegal, they increase the taxes, thereby increasing the budget, but they reduce the budget of the presidency and the budget of the assembly. They call that seductive move.
Reducing cost of governance and the center increasing the tax.
Yeah, increasing the tax. When they say reducing cost of governance, there is no reduction of cost of governance. The tax is for the governance. So they increase the cost of governance, but they decided to divert. Because we talk about governance, there are ministries, right, and institutions that have budget. They decided to go to the assembly, remove the budget for reduce the budget for the assembly, and place in other ministries. The budget has not been the expenditure of the government has not been reduced. It has increased because they have paid more tax and the budget has increased. But with the distributions of the funds, they decided to reduce that of the presidency and that of the assembly and send it to other ministries that they believe that has more problem. Like for instance in Cameroon, we have much problem at the level of road network. Transport, yes, transport. So you can reduce from this ministry, yes, so that the people should not have that mindset that look at the budget of the president is enjoying, look at the budget of the parliamentarian, they are enjoying. So there is this seductive move that I did not see from the government. And that is why the people now are like, look at the budget of the Senate, look at the budget of the National Assembly, look at the budget of the Economic and Social Council that has been there for how many years. They look at all this. They look at the budget that is going to all the commissions that we have. Disarmament Commission, Bilingualism Commission, this
broadcast,
commission.
Yes. Broadcast has billions.
Has billion. And that one even becomes a problem. Because if we look at the data, we have over 300 and something thousand civil servants, and they pay about 700 and something thousand, that's about 6% of their salary, to the CRT.
Yes,
and when you calculate those thousands of civil servants and that amount that is being removed, 700 and something francs per year, that's 700 and something times 12, that's a year. You multiply it by over 300 and something thousand civil servants, it's more than that budget. So those are some of the things that the Cameroonians see, because the problem here is accountability. So the system needs to render much more of accountability, ensure that the institution in charge of corruption hit it hard on those that are embezzling, because it's frustrating that a bike man is struggling to have maybe 3,000 francs to go and feed the family, and after his stress, he goes back to the house and he wants to on TV, and they say somebody embezzled 5 billion, and you are struggling to have 5,000, and you hear that somebody have embezzled. So that's where the frustration comes in. Cameroonians are educated. They know that the tax is meant for taking care of education, hospitals, and the rest. So the problem there is much more of accountability. And to pass my other co-panelists, I just want to let Cameroonian know to know that declaration is not paying of money. You are declaring. If you are unemployed, you don't have a job, declare that you don't have a job. You declare empty, that you don't have anything. Yes, and it is even done in Europe and America. People declare bankruptcy that they don't have money. So it is not beginning in Cameroon now. I understand. The problem is that there is a deficiency in communication at the level of ministries, that you even see that there are some of us CPDM communicators that even come and take the place of the government, because the outing of Atanganji, the MINAT communication team has not come out to educate the people on what the issue is authorized. It's during this program that some people know that it is about authorization and not about the activities of the prophet and the rest. It's about legal authorization. And so when we are talking about tax, I spoke with him. I said, but you have your store, right? He said, yes. I said, but you pay your tax to the council, you do this, right? But you go, you do your declaration, that's that. And they will know that this person has paid to this institution, then they will be able to trace now the money, so that tax collectors, that is our custom, and those working taxation should not be able to embezzle. So that's the accountability that the state wants. So people should go and declare. Anything you go and declare. President Pobia.
Thank you.
You cannot end without saying
thank you. It is magnanimity, guarant of national security.
President Pobia cannot put burden on Cameroonians, because Cameroonians are very close to his heart. They have always loved him and given him his votes. So he is there to serve us. And one thing, when I sit, I always pray to God for President Pobia. Somebody that sacrificed 42 years of his life serving the nation is somebody that early in the morning we should tell God that thank you for giving us President Pobia.
Okay. Kija, thank you. Thank God for giving us President Pobia. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Briefly, cost of governance, which we call, we have one more minute to go. We're out of time.
I think the cost of governance, we should not misunderstand it. We should cost of governance and then versus taxes in Cameroon. We are looking at cost of governance. For example, the ministers, they have the undue advantages. They have ministers living in free houses, driving free vehicles of 100 million, and having fuel bonds of millions of CFA francs. These are the things. These are the things we are talking about cost of governance. Yeah, we are not talking about their declaration. We are talking about using taxpayers' money to live this kind of flamboyant lifestyle, of which they are producing nothing at the end of the day. We cannot have a state budget. We cannot see the minister. We cannot have a state budget.
No. We just the minister of the administration hammering hard on order, and you see that.
We cannot. When I talk about production, I mean something else. We cannot have a state budget that is 78% on just current expenditure or consumption. So cost of governance, having a special trip abroad, all of these things are the things that should be cut, and the money refocus on road construction. I just moved from the national road number 5 this morning, from Chang to Douala. If you look at the nature of that road, I start in front of, because I used to move on that road sitting inside the car. I sat in front of the car today, and you'll be amazed to see the way that road is degraded. And most of these ministers, they drive in bulletproof car, and they don't really feel the pinch or the sufferings of the people on a daily basis. All we are saying that cost of governance, ministers in Cameroon should not be driving vehicles of 100 million. If they drive Karena E, they will still go to their workplaces. They live in Yaoundé, they drive around Yaoundé, and they can drive Karena E in Yaoundé. Karena E is not up to 5 million francs, and we don't see why Cameroon, being a poor country, a minister should be driving a car of 100 million. It is uncalled for. All of this is uncalled for. Even driving a car of 20 million for a minister is uncalled for. A minister should drive cars at maximum 5 million is okay, and we don't see why they should be having fuel bonds of up hundreds of millions or millions on every month, and Cameroonians don't have roads that they want to drive on. So all of this thing is what we call cost of governance, eating taxpayers' money on productive sectors. All of these things should be cut and the money refocus on other aspects of development. This is our point.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are out of time. I want to thank you, Nick, for coming.
Thank you too for having me.
It has been a strenuous one. You're just coming from the village.
Yeah.
You're an elite. We know that reconstruction is ongoing because your man is here in charge of reconstruction, and charity should begin at home.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you cannot blame Minister Potasong because he doesn't really have the money to do reconstruction. Yes, he's a head, but you cannot blame him. The money.
Defending, sir.
Yeah, the money that's meant for allow me to say you cannot totally blame him because the money from international partners for reconstruction, the government doesn't most of the time honor its own parts of the gain by giving their own parts of the funds for reconstruction. So you cannot you cannot like say that because on the ground we don't really see reconstruction going on. So
when you don't see reconstruction, you say it. Like for instance, I'll still go back to the issue of Bamenda. We saw billions that was given to maintain roads in Bamenda. Reconstruction budget has gone there. The Ministry of Urban Development, they have a budget they need to control road. The Ministry of Public Works, they need to control road. We are the ones talking that we want effective decentralization. When these people are given money, we should ask them to be accountable. We should not come here and romance. I am saying this because they are members of the party. President Pobia appoint them, and they must do what President Pobia has appointed them.
Thank you.
Because I am administrator.
Yes. We're out of time.
The issue is that when we want to tell administrators to do their job, you come to say they belong to a party. What does the party have to do with the minister doing his job?
Thank you. Thank you. Nick Keja, thank you, Nationals, for coming. Thank you very much.
Yes, Merry Christmas to my co-panelists. I'm not forgetting my man from Panelists in Boya.
Okay. I forgot to say Merry Christmas to President Pobia.
we know.
President Pobia,
Keja, we will have a last program next week Sunday, which will be last of the year before New Year. I'm sure you have the time to wish President Pobia. We'll look at the year in review. We have enough time.
That week I will be wishing him Happy New Year.
So thank
this
you.
Week is Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I want to thank Desmond. He has actually done a very good job. Many people have gone on holiday. Desmond decided to help us produce the program. Thank you very much, Desmond. Thank you to the broadcasting team. This program will be rebroadcast today at 10:30 p.m. and of course it will be on our YouTube channel. Happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert, and your wife Joanne from the United States of America. Until we meet again, no matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you is that you should know the truth and that the truth shall set you free. My name is Tah Mai Javis from Commons Commercial Capital Douala. Fengu Jombange. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.